Okay, so welcome to our talk. And the first thing that you do is to basically just introduce yourself so that we all know you. So I'm giving it to you.
Okay, so my name is Emmanuel John Ayarma. I'm a software engineer. I'm based in Ghana, and I just recently completed my undergraduate studies in computer engineering at the Kwame University of Science and Technology. And I'm happy to be here with Trevor 44. I like meeting new people, and I like taking on new challenges. So that's something about me.
Okay, I think that's a very short introduction. But then let's just get into the questions because it's more like an interview. So I'm just going to start asking the questions. Right? Are you ready, bro?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. So how did you end up becoming a software engineer? Like your journey, where you started from, and all of those things. We want to know.
Yeah, this question. See, honestly speaking, it's not like I had a plan to become a software engineer. Okay, so it's just a decision I made when I was in the university. Okay, because when I was in high school, I did general science with electricity, and I was taught some some bits of advanced database programming and web development. Okay, so after that, I was like, okay, so what do I do? I knew I wanted to do something computer. Okay, so I asked my teacher, and he was like, computer science or computer engineering, and he advised me to take computer engineering because he said that computer engineering, in a way, he managed to convince me that computer engineering is better. I was like, okay, so let me do computer engineering because it was like, if I do computer engineering, I could do computer science, what a computer science person would do. Okay, so I opted for computer engineering. So even before I came to the university, I was doing some web dev on my own. And so when I came to the university, I actually knew how to do basic programming before I came in. Okay. And along the line, computer engineering was not what I expected. You are doing electronics and electricals. I knew you do hardware, but not to this extent. So where's the software part? Okay, so it was just, it took some time. I think the end of second year to third year, fourth year, that software stuff actually got introduced in class, data structures and algorithms, software engineering and stuff. So when I was doing the software stuff, okay, that was when I actually made up my mind that I wanted to do software engineering, okay. But along the line, when I came to university, okay, I'm a Christian, so I joined my campus fellowship, okay. That's NUPG, National Union of Presbyterian Students in Ghana. And there's a team there we call the web team. So the web team borders itself with creating and maintaining the union's websites and database. So that was where I actually got the opportunity to showcase my web development skills and to sharpen them. Okay, so when I joined, I will learn some stuff and add what I already knew because I had actually started web development on my own. Okay, and it gave me the opportunity to put it to use because you can build projects on your own, but if you are able to work on something that people are using, that is amazing. Even if it's the smallest of contribution, I did this thing, even if it's just some line of code, people are using what I did. So when I joined web team, that's what sparked the interest. I mean, I can build a website that people can use. Okay, database and all. So it's that place that had actually inspired me to actually pursue this thing because I met people who were actually into this thing and they encouraged me and I learned a lot of things. And one lecturer, his name is Yankee. I don't know if anyone is in computer engineering department, they should have met Yankee because Yankee is a very good software engineer. He's a lecturer, and the way he taught software engineering actually sparked a good interest in me. Okay, so I've been doing web development along the line. I've done some internships and I've been in web team and on my own too. I've been doing something. So basically, I can't really pinpoint where I actually thought of myself this is it. But as I said, it's not something I planned. Okay, I just really discovered it. I just explored.
Okay, yeah, understand.
And I'm convinced that that's what I want to do. Yeah.
Yeah, but then you see, when you were talking, all of the time that you were doing web development before school, you never like said that you are an actual software engineer. You said that it was the time that you actually did software engineering school that you realized that you were a software engineer. So like the web development and stuff like that, that's not software engineering or what?
No, you see, when I started, I was just doing it for fun. Like, it didn't really, like, I had read about software engineering and stuff. It didn't really occur to me that, oh, okay, I want to do this, like, this is what I actually want to do. Okay. So I wouldn't say it's not software engineering, but I think that what I was doing then, it was just for fun though. Like, it didn't actually occur to like this like something I really want to put my effort and my bet my whole life on. Okay. So I think that point where I actually decided to do software engineering, okay, and someone said that as a math thinker, so is he. Okay, so when I got to my mind, like, oh, I'm really conscious of this, and this is what I've actually decided I want to do. And that was when I came to the consciousness that, okay, I'm software engineer. Let's roll with this. Like, it's not that what I was doing was software engineer, but like I'm saying to clarify that the point where I came to consciousness of myself that, hey, this is what I want and this is what I'm doing. Let's do this. Yeah.
All right. So for the next question, I want to understand how you view software engineering. What would you say is like the best part of being a software engineer? And what's like the worst part of being a software engineer? So like the one that you're happy about, one that you hate.
So I think the best part of being a software engineer is people using what you have built. Okay. Engineering is about design. When you are a software engineer, you are actually designing. It's like an art bar. Your canvas is, some people say your canvas is code, okay, or your canvas, your brushes, your color palettes, it's code, right? So when you start doing anything software engineering, if you're building a website, you're building a mobile app, the first thing you try to do mostly is to print some text, usually hello world. Okay, you are announcing to the world that, hey, this is your new software engineer I've come in, watch out for me. But you see, nobody responds to that. Okay. But eventually, if you are part of something big or a part of something, even if it's small and people are using it, even if you build a simple website that people go to, you build an app that someone uses, you just that thing, like it amazes me, like that someone is using what you create, that what you have created is value for people, it is benefiting people. That's what I like about software engineering. I also like the fact that it's lucrative too, right?
Yeah. Okay. How about the worst part?
The worst part, as happy as I am talking about software engineering, I think, let's be real, it's demanding, it's tasking, okay, and it's not. If it were easy, everybody would do it. Okay, if it were easy, everybody would do it. So sometimes bugs can really mess up your day. Okay, like you know that this thing is not the fault of the computer, it's your code that is not running, and you can't just get your head over it. So you have to fix this thing.
Yeah.
But sometimes too, if you are really not full time, like you are not in a full time role, okay, as a freelancer, you might not get like deals after deals after deals after deals. Yeah, so you're a freelancer, you can go broke. Yeah.
Go broke. Okay, but it's good that you mentioned bugs. You see, so I understand that there's a lot of frustration that comes with like working on bugs, fixing this and all of that. So how do you get over this frustration? Because you could have given up to go and do music, right?
Actually, I know you're not picking up on music, but I don't hate music. I actually like music. Yeah. But the thing is, that, take for example, bugs. I realized that anytime I fix a bug, I learn something new. Okay. And moreover, it's not just about you. Okay. It's not just about you, it's about creating things, getting things done, all right? Solving problems for people, that you're part of something big. And that is what keeps me going. That you have to be determined, and that just get yourself better, be good at your crafts, and just keep going. So if you are someone who easily gives up, I wouldn't recommend software engineering, because you're going to be tested. You're going to really be tested. And it's not necessarily, sometimes it's not the skills per se, it's not those who are really good at programming that really make it. those who are really determined and they are willing to put in the effort and be real about what software engineering is as it is.
Okay, understand. So, like back to school, you said that when you were doing computer engineering, when you started initially, there was a lot of hardware stuff, electronics and stuff like that, right? So why didn't you end up going to hardware? Because at that point, you were not really like setting on becoming a software engineer.
Yeah, I didn't really know that I should do hardware software because I had read hardware engineering, I had read software engineering. So what made me choose software engineering is number one, sometimes what hardware can do, you can use software for, even though software runs on hardware. I don't know if you get my point, right? You could build hardware to do something, okay, but you could also build software to do that thing. I mean, if you could build, let's say, some small device, right, that just plays audio, or you could build a music player. Okay, they do the same thing, right? But just there's a different tools used to build it. And also, I realized that if you are doing software, sometimes your only liability is a bug, right? If you are doing hardware, you have to buy components, bend some boards. I mean, if you never failed anything, it means you never tried anything. Okay, so software, you are going to fail if you are doing software. You are going to fail, and you get to learn something new. And the only liability sometimes is bugs or maybe some level of ignorance, and you reach out, someone helps you. But if you bend your board, that's it. Get a new one. No long talk. Okay.
Yeah.
And facilities in the school, but the facilities are not really enough to create room for people to learn through failure, especially with hardware. Okay. I was like, okay, why don't I do software? I'm sure if I do software, I can sit in Ghana and do remote work and work in almost any country that I want. Okay. But I'm not sure it's the same with hardware.
Okay. So yeah, basically saying that there's lots like, to you, the advantage of being a software engineer is far greater than being a hardware engineer, right?
Yeah, to me.
Okay, fine. We'll take it like that. So as a software engineer, what's a typical day like for you?
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm not on a full-time role, right? So I think I'll be on a full-time role the next month because I'll be doing my national service.
Okay.
Software engineer. So as it stands now, if I just wake up in the morning, right, I give thanks to God that I have the opportunity to be alive because I'm a Christian. And then, not always, but sometimes I go for jogging in the morning. Okay. And when if there's any chores to be done, I do it and I get to work. If I have tasks I have to accomplish for the day, like things I need to do for the day. So I look at those things, then I do them. So after all these things, I code, I learn, I read, rest, sleep, repeat. That's all.
So there's this notion that for software engineers, they usually like program for the whole day. Like 90% of the free time is being used for programming. Is it like that for you too?
No, it's not like that for me. It's not like that for me. I mean, I watch movies. I talk to people. I mean, I'm a human being. Okay, you're not a machine. You can't be coding straight up like from morning to evening. You burn out. Okay, you have to have a life, and I think part of what makes it possible for you to balance your life is if you are competent, like you are really good at what you do. Okay, you master your crafts really, really well. Okay, so it's the way I see it's like, okay, you're a software engineer. That's what you do. Okay. You have to find a way to become more productive so that you won't spend much time like coding. Okay. So it's not like I spend the whole day coding. Nah. I don't do that.
Okay, then. Speaking of productivity, how do you maintain a productive life then?
Productivity is very important. You have to be able to do sometimes a lot really, really well in a really short time. So how I do that is, number one, I think you should do planning because I plan my month. That's what I have discovered. If I don't plan, I mess up my month, I mess up my week, I mess up my day. So I set out what I really want to accomplish for the day. If I want to do this, I want to build this feature. Okay, or maybe today I don't want to code that. I want to learn this framework. I want to read this article. I set out things I need to do. Right, I plan. Number two, I think what I try to do too is to avoid distractions. Okay, if you want to be productive, you have to focus. You have to avoid distractions. So if it is that phone that I have to put away for some few minutes, I have to just put it on do not disturb so that I limit the notifications I'm getting. Maybe I'm just getting email notification. That's fine. So that I can focus and do what I need to do. Because if you can't plan, if you can't focus, and if you are not able to avoid distractions, you can really not achieve much. Okay. So I think that's what I find best for me. That I plan, I focus on avoid as much distractions as possible.
Okay. Now, I'm going to go back to school for a bit. See, there's also a number of people who believe that when you're coming to do like software engineering, you don't really need to go to school because basically YouTube and other online resources are there to, get you up to speed, to become a software engineer. So would you say that, okay, no, where do you stand on this debate, the school versus no school? Where do you stand?
Okay.
Like,
let me take it this way. Let me take it this way. There are a number of certifications, okay, given by companies. Google does certifications for developers. Google has this Android developer certificate. I don't know if I'm getting the name right. Google certified Android developer advocate or whatever. But that certificate, Google, according to Google, if you have an Android developer certificate, like certified by Google itself, okay, Google says that it's equivalent to an undergraduate college degree. That's what Google is saying. Okay. So at the end of the day, in my opinion, it depends on what you actually want to do, right? I don't whether it's something or whether in like what do you want to do, what do you want to achieve, what are the necessary skills that are necessary that you need to acquire or get to in order to get to that particular point or to achieve that achievement. All right. If you have to go to school to get the skills, I think it's worth it. If you think you can get there without going to school too, it's also worth it. So as much as possible, it depends on you. That who didn't go to school. My cousin like this, he's a UI UX developer. He's a product designer. Like, think of all the Adobe apps, like all the apps in the Adobe Suite. The Adobe, this guy can do it from Photoshop. He can do everything. Mobile app, he will do it. Web, and he hasn't been to college. Like, so such a person like that, he's valuable. He has the skills, and that is what companies are looking out for. They want people who have the skills. Okay, companies have visions, they have values, they have mission that they stand for. They want to accomplish things. Okay, and they're looking for people to help them to accomplish that. If you have the skills that meets roles that they have, so that you can fill them, they will pick you up. Okay, some too will demand that you have a college degree, but at the end of the day, it's all about the skills, especially in the tech industry. I wouldn't say it's the same for some industry, like maybe health industry also. Because if you want to be a doctor, you have to go to school, obviously.
Yeah. Okay, I understand you. So, okay, well, right now let's get a bit more technical. What are some technologies you worked with, and then how did you end up using them?
So when I was starting with them, like I was like, let me do the coding. So like, let me do something. So I started with HTML, CSS. But when it came to programming, I picked JavaScript. It didn't work out for me. So I said, okay, I read about some other languages. So Python will do it. So Python is what actually made me understand like the basic concepts of programming. Okay. But now I find myself doing Laravel, which is a PHP framework. Because I use Laravel for backend stuff. And I picked it up. Remember I mentioned earlier about WebTeam. Okay. So Laravel is part of the stack that we use that WebTeam. It's a full-blown full-stack web application framework that you can use to do like full-stack applications. And so I use Laravel, and I've used Flask before. But that one we were just using it for, I think it was a course project, intro to software engineering. So if I remember, so I used Flask before, and on the front end side too, I've touched Angular before. When I did Google Africa Developer Scholarship Program, I don't remember, 2019, 2020 there. Yeah, so I had to learn Angular. And after that, I used it to build some website that was based on Surge.sh also. So, but in my opinion, see, anyone can learn a framework and be good at it, okay? What people are interested in is the results. Can you get the thing done? If you're going to build an app, are you going to use native tools, like just use Swift for iOS or maybe Java or Kotlin F100? Or are you going to do cross-platform way? go with Flutter or React Native, okay, you are going to end up with the product. That's what's important, okay. Someone asked Steve Jobs why Apple doesn't use open source. And it was like, at the end of the day, what matters is that they get the job done. Like you are really solving problems. So you are really bringing value. Okay. So I think that is what's important. Whether people like to get into the let me see the argument of tech stack and things, but I don't really bother myself with that thing. If I need to learn React to do what I need to do, I'll learn and do it. Okay. I've worked with React before, I've worked with Angular before, I worked with Vue before. Not necessarily because I want to like be a master of everything, but like that is what is being used. You are given a code base and there's Vue inside. You've not done Vue before. What do? You have to work on that thing. So I learned Vue, I used to achieve it, and I'm done. So that's my view on frameworks and libraries and what tech stack things.
Yeah, I understand. So let's assume that someone wants to start software engineering tomorrow. What would be your top advice for that person?
You want to start software engineering? Okay, it's a dicey question because everyone's story is different. Okay, my story is very, very difficult. It's more like experimental because I like to explore and dabble myself in things, and then I see out for things as they are, and I say, okay, I like this, and then I focus on it. Okay, but what the advice I would give is software engineering. It's a really broad space. Okay, it's a really, really, really broad space. So I'll suggest that you find your niche. Like you find your niche, do your research, okay, and get some really small space that you want to cover. Okay, in the software engineering is very broad. You want to be someone who builds a website. You want to be someone who builds mobile app. You want to be someone who configures servers. You want to be someone, or maybe not everyone who is in software engineering is technical or does coding. Maybe you want to be part of the HR staff. You want to be a recruiter. Some people don't know how to code, but they're really good at finding good developers for companies. Okay, or maybe you just want to be a product manager. Okay, so just find your niche, like find what you're actually interested in, do your research. Okay. But if you want to be a software engineer, actually, I would recommend that you take a path. Okay, just I was saying, whether it's web or mobile dev, and I'll give an example. If you want to do actual software engineer, like backend engineer or systems engineering, okay, that one you should be focusing on building your programming muscles, okay, like data structures and algorithms, get mastering the logic. Because while in school, one lecturer told me something, Dr. Klobe was like, any foolish person, excuse my language, it was like any foolish person can just pick up a framework and learn, pick up a library and master, okay, but at the end of the day, only very few people can build a product, okay. Like you can learn to program. It's easy to learn to program, but it's not easy using a programming language to build something that is of value. And that one comes with skill, comes with experience. All right. So find your niche, what you're interested in. And then there are videos and a lot of articles about that path that you want to follow. Okay. So if you want to be a software engineer, for instance, let's say I want to be a backend engineer, I would suggest that pick a programming language that will allow you to understand solid programming, like good a program like that will give you good understanding of programming. For example, C, I recommend C. Many people not recommend C for instance, but C will give you a very good understanding of programming on the lower system level, and you understand how things really, really work. Okay. And then when you have done programming to the very low level, then you can think of higher level programming languages like Python or JavaScript. Okay. So that you have a broad understanding of everything. All right. So that would be my advice for someone. And lastly, last but not the least, like interact with people who are in the space that you want to go into. So like if you are into software engineering, as I was giving an example of, and that's what you want to do, right? Get in touch with people who are doing it, right? Get in touch with software engineering communities. You can find a lot of people on Facebook, on Twitter especially, and on LinkedIn. Connect with people who are there, right? So that they will just, people are more than willing to help you, like to guide you and to mentor you and to help you, right? Just get in touch with people. and I think you find your way out.
Okay. I understand you. This is actually very good advice. I should also take some parts, some parts of it. It's necessary. So, what do you think about the tech industry right now? Maybe Ghana, outside, and all of that. Like, how do we, make the money? This one, let's talk about the money. It's important. We've talked about skills and all of that. The money is also important.
Okay, so what is booming right now is artificial intelligence, AI, machine learning, and we are transitioning from Web 2.0 to Web 3.0. Okay, so now machines can think for themselves. That's where AI comes inside, and it means that machines are also part of those entities creating content for consumption on the web. Okay, so it's not just people who are creating content and people who are interacting with the content. Machines are also joining in. So you are transitioning to Web 3.0. Okay, blockchain comes inside, and when you speak of blockchain, you are also speaking of like fintech because I'm very, very confident that in some few years to come, right? If I might be wrong, but I'm sure that some cryptocurrencies will even be more preferred than the fiat currencies. Okay, so banks will be willing to like incorporate crypto stuff into their infrastructure and all. And I'm seeing the trend of cloud computing. More companies are willing to outsource their IT infrastructure to cloud more than ever. Like more companies, they are moving to cloud. Okay. So if you look at the trend, it means that there's a whole lot of opportunities. Okay. And there's a lot of digitization. So more businesses are digitizing their stuff. So it means that there's need for more software engineers, more UX developers, more data scientists, like just more and more and more. So there's a shelf for everybody, no matter what you want to do. So if a company wants to digitize itself, right, they might want to build a website, web developer, comes inside. They might want to outsource their IT infrastructure. So a cloud engineer comes inside, right? So you see the pattern. And because there's a lot of data nowadays, like we've created a lot of data in the past 3 years, the past few years, than the past few decades, okay? So it means that this data that companies or we have created and that we have gathered, okay, it means that we have to protect the data, right? So privacy and all comes inside. So nowadays, cybersecurity is hot key. Cybersecurity is really, really hot key, right? Really hot key. Who is going to be the police, like the task force that's in charge of helping companies protect themselves against security threats and to build secure networking systems for companies, right, or for organizations. So there's a whole lot of things happening. There's augmented reality, like a whole lot of things, right? And Facebook wanted to like get a very large market share of that. I think it's one of the major reasons why they changed from Facebook to Meta. Okay, so that if you hear metaverse, like I mean, you know that you can't. I don't know if you know what I'm saying. All right.
Yeah, I get your point.
There's a whole lot for everybody. So a lot is happening in the tech space, but essentially, I think what's important is that find your niche. What do you want? Okay. So the lucrativeness here is there, right? Because AI is like really, really mainstream. AI, data science really big. So if you are someone who likes math, you like to analyze data, and you like to like AI, people like AI, right? But they're not interested in what it takes to do AI. AI is just math program, like math, pure math, statistics, probability, calculus, right? So if you're someone like you like things like that, I think you should go into AI, right? And if you are someone who wants to go into just IT, networking stuff, IT support, server configuration and stuff, I think you should consider cybersecurity too, but that one too is hot. So if I'm to continue speaking, like I won't finish. There's a lot going on, like in that field. There's a lot going. There's enough food for everybody.
Okay, but then you see, let's still speaking about the job market. Let's consider Ghana, for example. There is this notion that if you do tech, ICT, and those kind of things in school in Ghana, you will not get job, or you either be found wanting when you're looking for a job. How do you like? What is your take on that? Because obviously, you just said that there's like room for everyone, but then most of our people in Ghana don't really like believe in those kind of things.
So the thing is, there are lots of software engineers, right? But there are very few good software engineers. That's the thing. Okay. Everybody can code, but who can really build stuff like that really works, stuff that are highly maintainable, and I don't know if you get my point. Okay. So the point is you have to be really good at what you do, like really, 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 really good. Really, really, really good. And if you compare the standards of software engineering, like in a country to the outside world, there's a huge gap. Okay. What Because you you could be a senior software engineer here, and you might be struggling to get that same role, senior software engineer role elsewhere, especially in the US. Okay, but it doesn't necessarily mean that if someone is good here, the person might be worse off. Like it's just a scenario I'm giving. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not that it's IT, you might not get a job. Companies are even actually willing for people to work remotely for them. Okay, so it's a global world, and we are competing globally. So I like to tell people that whether I like it or not, you are even competing with your classmates or your course or so if you are in K University, you are competing with your classmates, and at the same time, you are competing with people in Access University, people in University of Ghana, people in other universities, right? So if there's a job offer for software engineer, all of these people from these places are applying. The Chinese who are applying, the Indians who are applying. Okay, so it's a very competitive market. Okay, so the best roles are actually filled by those who are really really good at what they do. So just that is why I'm saying that you have to find your niche. Okay, if you are starting out, especially as a software engineer, you can't do everything. You have to find your niche, like find your path, and really be good at what you're doing, so that you can really showcase your competencies. That this is what I'm really good at, and be confident to speak about it. And yeah, I'm not sure if you're actually good at what you do, you will be jobless. No, no, no. Because I think that where I am, even if I don't get a job opportunity outside, I shouldn't remain jobless, even in this hot economy. Like I'm so confident of that because I know that the skills I have will be in demand. All right. So if someone will be willing to capitalize on your skill, right, that is a plus for you. Like they need you, right, because you have the skills. If you have the skills, people actually come for you. You shouldn't be jobless for a very long time. That's my take on
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, so back to you again. Do you like document your journey, the things you've learned, the skills you've acquired, the things you've done, those kind of things? More like a tech journal of a sort.
Yeah. Okay. I already see I document, but it's not as yes. I have a LinkedIn profile. You see my LinkedIn profile. I also have a blog on dev.2, or dev2. But I think it's just one article that's there. Right now I'm free. Like I'm done with school, so I'm free. So I plan on writing more articles and yeah, documenting more of my journey. But once in a while, I'll put something on LinkedIn or something about my achievements. Yeah, but not in a blog, so like a journal for for now. That's one of the things to look at to me, journaling my journey.
The reason why I was asking this is because I was talking to someone, and according to that person, it's easier for us to basically forget about our achievements because as we continue to move on and work on other things, we forget that we are able to do like there are things that we've done, there are big things that we've actually
Yeah.
so
It's
like
very true.
eh.
It's very
Well,
true. But okay, you go ahead. Go ahead.
well, to me, I don't think that it's a problem per se because you should find yourself to like you should be able to remember exactly what you've done. But then sometimes I find out that I've forgotten. And when you go back and read the things that you've done, you kind of feel motivated that oh, I was able to do this. Then I can actually like
Yeah.
continue where I'm
Like,
doing. Yeah.
sometimes I look at the things I'm like, this thing it was not like it's not really that big, but I was able to do this. And you see what happens at the end of the day, what happens is that let's say you're doing this thing and you get stuck up, okay. Then all of a sudden something comes to mind, like the projects you worked on, the things you've achieved, right? So the small victories that keep you going, like I was able to do this, I was able to do this. So why not this? I can do it. So let me give it a shot. Okay. So I think it's a very important thing that you mentioned.
Okay.
And yeah, I want to look at that and document my sometimes I just post like if I've made an achievement, like maybe I'm done with this course, I'm able to build this thing. Not always, but once in a while. And sometimes I just like staring at my GitHub profile, my repositories, like okay, I did this, did this. Yeah. But the catch here is that you are not also too much focused on what you have done, that you don't want more, okay, because you don't want the situation where you are so much obsessed with your achievement, your past achievements, that you are locked up and you can't grow more, okay, because you have to, at a particular point in time, you are going to get dissatisfied with your achievements and you want to move on to the next thing. By it's a balance. It also means that you have to be proud at any point in time that you weren't like this and you were able to achieve all these things. So it's one thing that we need to
Okay.
take good care.
Yeah, understood. So, like, let's take our mind off software engineering for some time, and then let's just talk about this. Aside work, reading, learning, or any other, like, any of the productive stuff, what other activities do you find yourself dabbling in?
Yeah, so I drum at church. I drum at church, so I like music. So
Oh,
I play the drum kits and the conga as well. Yeah. I'm an introvert, but I also find my way of like relating with people. I like meeting new people. Yeah. So if you don't know me, you would think that from afar I don't like people, but like if you get close to me, you see that I actually like interacting with people.
yeah,
So it's not about coding and like you have to balance it small with something. Otherwise, you'll be like, I don't know, like all work and no play makes Jack a down boys.
okay.
I watch movies too. So
Your movies there, they are very important. Don't joke with them. All right. So, before the interview, I actually sent out a tweet, and then there are some questions over there which I'm actually going to ask you right now. So we'll go through them quickly, and then we move on, and then we wrap up. So, first one, does being a full stack developer make you deficient in one? Like, if you're a full stack developer, does it make you deficient in either back end or front end?
that's a tough question. Okay, what I realized is that nowadays companies are looking for more full stack developers. Like they're looking for people who are good both on the front and on the back end. Okay, but it's but I think it's obvious because see, if you can't use your two eyes to focus on two things at the same time, it's not happening. You have to focus only on one. Okay, so uh, someone who has spent like 5 years on front end, okay, and has really done his good job to master his crafts. I don't think you can compare his competency on the front end to someone who has been doing full stack, okay, for 5 years, because that person would be doing both front end and back end. Okay. But I think that front end and back end, they complement each other. All right. So even if you are doing full stack or you're doing front end or back end, the question is it depends. Me, for questions like this, the best way I have to answer is it all depends on you. Okay, what do you want? Right? Do you want to be someone who's good at both front end and back end, or you want to be someone who's good at one? Okay, because at any company, there has to be someone who knows a bit of everything. All right. In every team, if there's a full stack developer, it helps because he has a knowledge of everything. He can do both sides. All right. And now the companies are looking for more people like that. So if you can do both front end and back end, I recommend it. But that it makes you deficient. I wouldn't say deficient per se, but I think that they complement each other. So what the knowledge, the time you or the effort you give to maybe front end alone or back end alone, right? You give both to front end and back end. And I think what most people do is that they start with one and then they add another one. Most people start with front end, all right, and they add back end to it. I think it's good. If you can do Foster, I think you should do it. It gives you an overview of everything. But I wouldn't say that makes you deficient. It all depends on you. Some people are so versatile and so good that you wouldn't even know whether if they did front end they would have done better, or if they did back end they would have done better. Like some people are just so good, they pick up anything and they are just good at it. They are just good at their craft. So at the end of the day, it still depends on you.
Yeah, it makes sense. So another person also mentioned burnout, and then he wanted to know if you also suffer from burnout, and then how do you deal with it?
Yeah. Sometimes I work on one thing, and no, bus can really mess up your day. What I have discovered, what I've come to realize is that you are a human being, okay? You're not a machine. Okay. So when I get tired, I rest. When I get tired, I rest. At first, I'm like, if this thing doesn't work, I won't sleep. That's work. But I realize that sometimes when you just give time to it, okay, and if you sleep, but by the time you wake up, you realize that it was because you were so tired that you were just so tired. That was why you couldn't even see the little detail to be able to solve that bug that was like worrying you. Okay, so I think burnout, I've faced it before, but the way I tackle it is not to push myself too much to the limits. Okay, that you sit in front of a computer, you look at the screen for like 5 hours, you are going to really be stressed. So if I sit for some time, I just get up, walk around, come back. Okay, and most people try to do like too lot, like they try to do too much, like a lot at the same time. That one, you're going to really burn out. You're learning a programming language, you're learning a framework, you're working on some projects, you have to balance your life. Like, you're going to burn out. So just understand that you're a human being, okay? And rest when you're tired. Just rest when you're tired. That's all. You're not
Okay.
a machine.
Okay. Another thing over here, just to choose between two things: typed or dynamically typed. No, typed or dynamic languages.
Yeah. So I started with Python, but now I'm getting really, really, really interested in statically typed, like strongly typed languages, because they can help you catch some errors beforehand. All right. So in my final year project, we worked on the mobile app, and we use Flutter for it, and that has some typing. Okay. And that's when I was working with that, I was like, well, you know that this is an integer, we know that this this variable is going to be of this type. Even though there's some dynamic typing inside in that, sometimes when you declare a variable and you give it the value, you can't change and give it another value of different type. All right. So I think as much as possible, if you're a developer, even if you're using dynamically typed languages, try to learn the strongly typed ones, because more often than not, the strongly typed ones give you a better understanding of like programming.
Okay. And one person also would like to know if passion is important in terms of like being a software engineer.
uh, yeah, I think so. I think so. I think one of the best things that can happen to you as a human being is doing what you love and getting paid for it. Okay. So if you have passion for it, I think it's fine. Right. I don't I the worst situation I want to be in is to wake up every morning, Monday morning, to go to your work, that I'll be complaining this and that and this and this and this and this and that. Okay. So I think if you have passion for software engineering, but passion is everything. Okay. Passion is not everything. Like, the fact that you have passion doesn't mean you're going to make it. There are people who don't have passion about software engineering, but they are willing to put in the work and put in the efforts to learn and to be really good at what they do, and they are successful. Okay. So it's good that you, as a human being, you are doing what you love and what you like. But passion is not everything. So put in the necessary efforts, the necessary work. I'm sure you make it.
Okay. And then someone also said that if someone wants to look up to you, what roadmap would you give the person?
Okay. If someone wants to look up to me,
yes.
Okay, so my goal is to be like very experienced software engineer. Even though I'm full stack, I'm seeing myself being more back in the next few years to come, right? So focus on getting good at programming, all right? And I don't know how much I have to stress this. Like, you can just learn any framework at all, okay? But I'm just saying that first, worry yourself with the programming aspect, okay? Get to understand programming. If you really want to do like software engineering, like, get to understand the programming, do the programming, okay? The data structures and algorithms, okay? Pick a language. I recommend a statically typed language, strongly typed language, right? If you can do C, because C is very low level, and to give you understanding of everything, or maybe Java, or a very strongly typed language, and use it to build your programming muscles. Okay. Then after that, you should take on projects. Do a lot of projects. Okay. Do a lot of projects. I find it that people have projects on their GitHub repositories, GitHub profiles. What they do was they just watch a tutorial, followed from the start to finish, and they just build the same thing. Okay, you have to get to the point where you can see a problem and you yourself break the problem into simpler problems, right? And see the problem solved, bring it to life. Okay, so master programming, right? Build projects, and learn a lot. Like you have to really learn a lot. Okay, so when I say you have to really learn a lot, I mean master learning. Okay, because as a software engineer, you are going to be learning a lot. As time goes on. So build the program muscles, do more projects, learn a lot, and find people who are into software engineering. I have a mentor. Okay, I have people I look up to, and we have an adage in the English speaking that follow who know rule, Charlie. There are people who they are what you want to become. Okay, so connect with people in the software community. I have a mentor called Selim. I reach out to him and we talk a lot about software engineering. Sometimes he shows me code base to try to explain things to me and all that. Okay, so it's not that I'm there and all of a sudden I become who I am today. I'm not saying I'm there yet, but I'm a process. Okay, I'm going somewhere. But if you think that this pattern flow is also carved out for you and you want to follow it, then I think this is the way you have to go. That you are not going to do it on your own. Okay, seek help when you need of help. And people are ever ready and willing to reach out and help you. And I'm sure you'll get there.
Okay, understood. Well, I don't have any other questions over here, like specific questions over here for you. But I have to actually thank you for everything that you've said because we've learned a lot of things from you. But before we actually leave, are there any like final words that you have for the people watching this? Most people will probably be beginners though. So maybe any final words for everyone?
So the final words that I just have to say, just be yourself, okay? You can't be everyone else. So just be yourself. Just be yourself. Enjoy what you do and reach out to people. Okay, seek help. Don't be in your one corner and trying to be doing everything. Connect with people. Okay, software engineering is about people. Whatever you are building, if people don't use it, it really doesn't matter. If you see hello world and the world doesn't say hi back to you, you're going to be stressed out. So connect with people and just be yourself. Yeah, just be yourself.
All right, sure. Okay, one more thing before we go. What would you change about your path right now? Maybe looking back at how you came here. Just one thing that you changed. No explanation, nothing. We leave it like that, and we'll leave the suspense and leave the video.
Okay, I think sum total of my successes and my failures, my mistakes, my decisions. So I think whatever I am today, my experiences have made me who I am. And I don't think I'm ashamed of them. I've learned from my mistakes. I've learned from my failures. I think it's fine. They're all worth it. So I'm cool.
Okay, understand. I guess that's it for this video then. And thank you for coming. Thank you for agreeing to have this interview with me. And cheers.